Hi, my name is Adam Whitmer. I'm the founder and host of ComplianceCohort.com. This compliance clip is going to talk about the HMDA exemption and the property address. So we are in the middle of HMDA season, and what I have found is quite a few HMDA reporters are struggling with the new partial exemption for small HMDA filers. So I wanted to talk about this in particular because this is a topic I have seen come up quite a bit, and there's been great confusion on this topic. Specifically, the question here is the state data field, if the state data field is reported on the HMDA LAR, is a small filer still permitted to exempt the address, the city, and the zip? So in other words, the address, city, and zip are part of the property address, but state is also there, so state is listed, and can it still be exempt? Because what the rules have really said is when you have one field reported or one data field reported, you have to report all the other data fields within that larger data point. Let me see if I can explain this a little bit better. But first, where we're going to get our answer is going to come from the CFPB interpretive and procedural rule. It's going to come from Regulation C, and it's going to come from the Filing Instruction Guide, or the FIG. I'll try to refer to it as the FIG. Now, under HMDA, so let's look at the rules first. I need to clarify that there are actually two different data points. There's the property address, which includes the address, the street address, the city, the state, and the zip. Now, the other data point is property location. The property location has three data fields, which includes the census tract, the county, and the state. So on your LAR, what's interesting is you only have one field for state, but that state applies to both the property address data point as well as the property location data point. Are you following me so far? So all of these fields here, the address, the city, state, and zip, are data fields that are part of the larger data point property address. And what the rules say is when you list one of these data fields, you have to include all of the data fields in the data point. And again, this applies to small filers who are utilizing the exemption. You can optionally report, that's what the rules say, but when you provide one data field, you have to list all the fields within the larger data point. So that's where our concern comes from, because the HMDA partial exemption only applies to the property address. The result is that the property location is not an exempt field. So that means, for the most part, I'll talk about that in just a second, for the most part, you're going to list the county, census tract, and state for most of your loans. There are a few instances where it's not required, but what most financial institutions do is they just go ahead and provide the property location every time, because that is not an exempt field. So if the property location includes the state, how does this relate to the property address? Right? So what happens? The question is, what happens when the state data field is listed because it is required by the property location? So we have a state field listed in the property location, but the state is also part of the property address. So the question is, does the state require us to automatically include all the other data fields within the property address data point? See, this is very confusing, and I can see why so many of us have struggled through this. So the question is, does the fact that you're listing the state, because you're listing it as part of the property location, which is required, does that listing of the state require you to automatically include the street address, the city, and the zip, which are the other elements, three of the four elements of the property address field? I hope I'm explaining this well. So the answer to this comes in the HMDA Filing Instruction Guide, the FIG. And specifically, it comes in Validity Edit V709. When you look at V709, this Validity Edit, it says if the street address, city, or zip code is reported exempt, then all three must be reported exempt. Now, what this Validity Edit is doing is it's basically the program on how we need to make sure that our property address is listing all of the fields the same way. You either list them all exempt or you report them all. And this is the edit that's telling us what to do for property address. And as you can see, there's only 3 fields listed under the property address data point. when in fact there are 4 fields, which state is the 4th. So what this essentially tells us is that we are permitted to exempt the street address, the city, and the zip, even if you report the state as part of the property location. That is how it works. I hope I made this clear for you. It's very complicated. When I struggle through a topic as much as I did just now, it reminds me on how complicated the topic actually is. Anyway, thank you for watching. Oh yeah, one more thing is some vendors may be conservative, so they may take a more conservative approach and force you to list the street address, the city, and the zip. But I do not believe it's required because of that validity edit 709. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching this clip. If you're not currently a member of the compliance cohort, check us out. We've got a free membership site where these compliance clips, these 3 to 5 minute training videos are available for free members. Also for free are a bunch of articles and tons of other resources. So we hope you'll join us at the compliance cohort. Otherwise, if I don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thanks for watching. Bye.